well. You're monitoring systems. You're setting up things like Wireshark to gauge traffic, to see what's coming in, what's going out, to see the vulnerable points in the system where can this bad boys going through. Penetration tester as well. You putting pressure on the system to see will the system break. You're simulating attack. You're creating two, three different environments to test out to see, okay, if certain type of attack comes in this way, how secure are we? What environment is safer? If we're attacked at this level, can we move all our operations to this environment? Typically, what happens with most of these bigger businesses, they would always have a second or a third environment setup, right? With the case of M&S, and I think last year there was also a very, very big cyber attack with one of those car companies. I've forgotten their name, where it was a big, big breach. So everything around their customers who were coming to buy cars, their credit reports, the type of cars they had. And if you were coming to buy a car, you would obviously provide certain information, your driver's license, your home address. Oftentimes they'll ask you for birth certificates, they'll ask you for your job. So, all these things are things that was breached during that. I think that's car 47. They had this big breach. So I'm security engineer. You build secure systems. Once it comes to this, as you can see, once there's a word, whenever you're looking at something and there's a build, it means that you are going to be hands-on. You need some software development skills to build secure systems. SOC analysts, SOC analysts, first-time responder to cybersecurity incidents. Usually, these guys are the guys that once something happens, they immediately set up a first responder avenue to begin to see, okay, where has the breach happened? What do we need to do? What skill sets do we need to be implementing? If there's not enough manpower in-house, you need to begin to make calls to see who you can bring on board the team. So as a SOC analyst, usually it's a role that is in high demand because you are the first person that is being called upon when there's issues like a cyber attack. The CISO role is more like a chief information security officer. It's more of a leadership role at a higher level, global level. This is more for the big boys. At this level, you're mainly setting the tone, setting the pace, security documents, security processes. You're checking GRC, governance risks and compliance. You're preparing a response plan. You're reporting to the CEO on what you have done with your team as the CISO officer. So these are some of the popular cybersecurity roles that I think that some of you on this call might be interested in. And then just briefly looking at how to get started, right? Oftentimes people, once they hear of cybersecurity, it sounds very big, but fundamentally, you don't have to be a tech genius. That's what I said in my point one. You need to start from the basics, right? And networking. I'm not a big fan of networking because it's very tricky. Even though I have a first degree in computer engineering, it's not my fault. I leave networking for the big boys who want to put their time into it. But you need to learn the basics, networking, OS, operating systems. Coding is optional but very helpful because from time to time you might need to write some scripts that will be very essential in mitigating attacks. Learn the fundamentals, cyber hygiene, the threat landscape. So threat landscape is very important as well. As a cybersecurity person, you need to be well informed about the threat landscape. If you are in a sector that is very popular with attackers like healthcare, e-commerce, anything that deals with user data. As a cybersecurity person, you want to know what is the history of attacks in this space, and that knowledge and information will give you a good foundation to prepare properly for potential attacks. And starting with certifications, you can go to school and learn cybersecurity. It's fine. You can learn it on your own, but certifications are also very critical because a certification is sort of like an official approval from a cybersecurity recognized agency that says that this person at their level, based on them getting this certificate, they can do A, B, C, D. At their level, you can trust them to handle cybersecurity in your organization. So that's a very, very important one as well. So before I go ahead, I think I'm almost at the end of my slides. Any questions before we proceed? So this is a packed slide. I had to just add all the information there because I thought that this was something that that would be very important for the lessons. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit for those who might want to have a proper look at it. So at the beginner level, I'm sure most of you have heard of Comsha Security Plus. Essentially, it's foundation level, covering security bases. Useful for entry level cybersecurity. With this certification, you can get jobs as a security analyst, as a SOC analyst. Google Cybersecurity Certificate. This is very, very, very beginner friendly, and I would encourage everybody to just go online and just type Google Cybersecurity Certificate. There's all kinds of platform offering this. Very popular on Coursera as well. That is something you can begin to test your hands on, and there's no pressure with this one, right? When you start the course, they would state it very clearly there that you don't need to be an expert here, right? So it's something that you can look at getting. It's useful for helping you get the basis or the basics of cybersecurity. If you're looking for a career change as well, it could also be a very important course for you. And some of the jobs that this certification can help you with: junior security analyst, support in the cybersecurity sector, because normal line one, line two IT support is, of course, elements can be taken from A to B, but with IT support and cybersecurity, you're looking at threat analysis, threat response, you're looking at mitigation, you're looking at a whole lot of things. So this the Google Cybersecurity Certificate is something that is very important that you might want to look at. At the intermediate level, we have the Certified Ethical Hacker course. Essentially, it teaches ethical hacking techniques, and this is very important because if you are not certified as an ethical hacker and you've gone to learn a few things online, and yes, your intentions are not bad, but you go ahead and begin to try to poke holes into a system or software of a business, it doesn't matter if your intentions are good, you will face the full force of the law. So, there are various ways around this. First of all, you get yourself the right learning, get the ethical hacking certification so that you know the right techniques. And then if you're looking to do some, you know, penetration testing or assessing a system, you have to officially inform the business in some form that, hey, this is what I'm doing. Because if you do not do that, you might have a situation where you successfully penetrate the system, and this is taken up all the way to the appropriate authorities, and you're going to be in big trouble. So you should do things right. So it's useful for pen testing, assessing vulnerabilities in system, and you could get jobs like a penetration tester, security consultant, which is what I'm still building my career on as well. The CCNA provided by Cisco. Essentially, everybody knows Cisco. Cisco, they are big on networking. It's mainly on network focused. If you're somebody who loves networking, it might not be easy, but this is where you should be targeting. Of course, this I think something I didn't add here because of time. I was trying to add the cost for each of these courses, but unfortunately, I couldn't get that in there. But courses like CCNA are very important. They can be used for security setup, Cisco environment. If you're looking to work with Cisco and you have a CCNA certificate, then it's an easy shoe in for you. You just go right in because they are the ones providing the training, and you've elevated yourself by you getting that training. So automatically they see you as a first pick in the jobs that they offer. Jobs you can get from that: network security engineer, firewall administrator, and so on and so forth. There's also the CompStat CISA, focus on behavior analysis, threat detection, can be used for threat hunting, potential jobs there: SOC analyst, threat intelligence analyst as well. And then for the advanced level, there's a CISSP, Certified Information Security Professional. It's the gold standard. This is, as you can see, it says advanced level. So this is not something that you rush into, except you've come a long way, you've been learning and training, and you feel like you want to go to the next level. Um, this is where you need to go to. So it's the gold standard for experienced professionals. Entails designing, managing security programs, security job security architect. You remember earlier we mentioned the role of the chief information security officer. If you're looking at getting into such a leadership role, then the CISSP is something that you want to take a very serious look at. Consultant CISM, Certified Information Security Manager, um, essentially deals with governance, risk management, compliance. And I think with most of something I want to mention is that oftentimes when people see cybersecurity, yes, it's a lot of hands-on work. There's some coding in there, but there's a sector in cybersecurity that is a bit easier. I don't want to use the word easier because nothing is easy. But when you look at GRC, governance, risks, and compliance, there's a whole lot of easy chewable there for you. Like it's more like documentation. You're preparing document, preparing policies, preparing SOPs, standard operating procedures. You're checking to make sure the company is doing things right. There is not a lot of coding in GRC. So for those of you who are not big on coding, who are not big on writing scripts, governance, risk, and compliance is a sweet spot for you. So I'm going to encourage you, if you are not big on coding and and languages, Python, Java, and all that, this is something you want to look at for the CISM area. It's mainly used for managing security teams and strategy. And you can get a job as an information security manager or as a governance, risk, and compliance analyst or associate. And then finally, we have the lead OSCP, Offensive Security Certified Professional. This is where it gets really really serious. When hacking is done, when there's a bad actor penetrating the system, these are the big boys that are called to come fight back. So essentially, it's hands-on hacking. You're doing red team. You're doing advanced pen testing. You're really going in there to see what's going on. Which of our resources have these hackers been able to take from us? How do we get it back for them? And beyond you trying to say, okay, they've with organizations, there's usually various systems for various purposes. One system might be for staff information, another system might be carrying information for financial records, another information might be carrying something else, right? So with this role, the OSCP guy would say, okay, this hacker is coming from this IP address. What is their weakness? Right? How do I hack them at the same time that they're hacking us? Something very interesting that happened recently. I don't know if you guys saw, Coinbase. Coinbase, one of these crypto guys, they had a breach where I think is it 2 million or 20 million of customer data. Sorry, the 20 million was the value. So customer data was accessed, and the hackers told the Coinbase team that they need $20 million for them to release the information. And do you know what the Coinbase CEO did? The Coinbase CEO came online on Twitter and put a bounty of $20 million on the on the hackers. So this was just a very interesting playbook. Honestly, I'd never seen that before, where you're being hacked, there's a ransom being demanded, and instead of giving in, you come online to say that $20 million that is being asked of, you're putting a bounty on the head of the hackers. So it was a very very for me it was a flawless approach. And just imagine yourself being a hacker, you're holding somebody to ransom, and all of a sudden the CEO has put a bounty on your head. So it was a very good thing, and I think that that's also another way to go about it. While your internal team is trying to get these guys out of your system, you're also offline trying to